Hey, welcome to Tough Guys TV. So on this episode, we're going to actually be finishing out some detail in our kitchen, and we want to do some really cool weathered trim around the doors when we took all the trim off to finish the shiplap. So I'm going to go through the process of getting the wood prepped the way we do it and staining it and then putting it in. It should be pretty short. I just want to kind of show how that's going to look. We also have a dual window above our kitchen sink that we need to get wrapped in the same type of wood. So I've got some different trim boards for that. Got the crappy clothes on today because I'm going to be staining, and let's just get to it and show you how we do it. All right, so just to show what we've got set up here, we've got we're going to do a tarp, and we've got our sawhorses set up because I don't want the stain to get on this old deck, even though we got to refinish it anyways. So we're going to start with that, bring out the wood, and get it all prepped up. All right, we've got all the wood laid out in the garage, and now the game is to get this wood beat up. So we have the star of the day. Memphis here has the chain. All right, man, we're gonna start with the chain. We got some other stuff we're gonna use, so just kind of hit that wood a little bit, and let's get some character. There you go. It's a healthy activity. Don't just hit the same spot now. Beat this one up down here, come on. Get some of these other ones. Just toss the chain. Just toss it out onto the wood. There you go. What we want to do is just make it as random as possible. We don't want to have a ton of repetitive marks. So. Alright, so to show, we don't want to beat the wood to the point of where it's just horrible, but I definitely want a lot of character in it for our kitchen. I wanted it to look aged and old. So now as we get this sanded down and we get the stain in there, it's going to kind of build up in those little grooves and marks. And it's going to look really cool once we got everything up together. So kind of an overview, have fun with this part. Don't take it too serious. All right, so we've got the wood set up on the sawhorses here, ready to go. We're gonna use just our regular old Makita sander, nothing fancy. We just wanna make sure we get any of the splinters or the marks off of there, so that way before we start to do the staining that our cloth isn't getting all hung up and we don't have anything looking not nice. I do want the wood to look kind of beat up and old, but I don't want it to have like splinters and stuff where somebody could get their finger on it. So I wanna use the sander just to give a quick pass and get it all prepped up. So let's get that done and then we'll start staining. Okay, so all the wood is sanded and we're gonna lay out a few pieces. We're using this Varathane wood stain. I'll put a little picture up to show which one we're using. It's American walnut. So we're gonna get this all done and give you a closer look once the stain's actually on the wood. Alright, stain coat 1 is done. Try to get this in here so y'all can see. Those marks show up really, really well. Really makes this just plain old 1x4 lumber look really good. Give it some character before we get it installed. I'm always really happy with this process. As hopefully you can see, it's not hard to do. You know, you just buy some plain old lumber, rough sand it to give it some rough sand markings, get it smooth enough to give it some character, and then, you know, stain it. So we'll get this stuff inside, and as we start putting it in, we'll show some more detail on getting the trim cut and installed. All right, so the wood is ready. We're gonna make some cuts, and we've got the miter saw set up outside here to eliminate the dust inside the garage. So we're gonna make the cuts and then take them inside and put them up. Okay, so making the first cuts, we measured inside already for the first door casing, and we're just gonna transfer those measurements onto the boards so that we can make the cuts accurately. In this case, we're not gonna be doing mitered corners. We're just gonna do I call it a flat top casing style for the doorways in the kitchen. So what we're gonna do is cut the sides first, bring those in, put those on, and then we'll cut the top piece after we're able to measure side to side that total opening. And we've got the stain back out just for these cut ends. We can touch these up really fast before we put the trim up, but something you want to have ready, so that way when you make your cuts, you don't have to try to do it once it's already on the wall. Little tip there. All right, so we got the first two side pieces in, just to kind of show how that's going to look. We decided to go with just a straight style, so we've got this last piece cut, and it's just going to fit up on top like that. All right, so we decided to go with 1.5 inch brad nails. Maybe able to go with a little bit larger or a little bit smaller, depending on the way you were doing it. But for us, the bigger wood going into the shiplap, I wanted to have just enough going through. So once you get everything cut and measured, it's not so bad. All right, so measuring out for the next cut. And what I like to do is I like to look where I'm gonna have just a little bit of a reveal. I don't personally care for much more than, say, 1/8 of an inch. So it looks like right here we'd be at 80 1/8 or 80 3/16 on this side. And since our house is 100 years old, I wanna check both sides. So 80 1/8 over there. And it looks like we'd be okay over here too, because I can always pull it up from the bottom just a touch to make it match. So 80 1/8 on both sides. And then once these are measured and they're put in place, then I'll measure the top piece, but not before, because I won't know exactly where they sit side to side. So we've got the two cuts made for the sides, and we didn't really show the other one, so show you here. Here, come around this way so you can see the bottom. So start by getting it where you want it to be at the bottom. This piece we can knock in if we need to keep the reveal the same. But this one's actually pretty good as I just kind of eyeball look at it. So you want to start, you don't want to nail it in the center. You want to nail it either at the top or at the bottom, and then work your way up the piece of trim so that you can make adjustments as you go. All right, so we've got the two side pieces. So now I can pull the measurement across, 37.5. So you want to make sure you do this once these are up, because otherwise you're going to have, like I said, you won't know exactly where they end up. You could always try, but it's when you're doing this straight mount top, you know, I'm going to measure it after you get it in. So just a sliver shy of 37.5. So we'll cut that and then put it in and show you how it looks. And the top piece fits well. It's in. We're going to nail it in, and we'll kind of jump ahead until we get around this other doorway here. All right, so the next part is we need to wrap this window the same style as the doorways. So we're going to show you how we measure it out. The centerpiece here is quite a bit bigger than a normal piece of trim, so we've got a special piece of wood for that. So let's take a look. All right, so we're going to measure the first side similar to the doors. But because we left this existing interior window trim, we didn't want to take that out, so I'm gonna measure up to the top edge there. It looks like 37. And we're gonna just do the same thing as the doorways. We're gonna set the top piece of trim across. So we're gonna cut both of these side pieces in first. So this one's 37, and this one should be hopefully the same. It is 37. So we cut those, and really quick, we brought in one of the test pieces just to see, and actually fit really nice in there. Just wanted to make sure we weren't getting into some trouble. So that will fit well. Let's go make the cuts. All right, we've got the two side pieces in, and the sun is really making it hard to record this. But those two are in, and there we go. This guy's in. Here we have a big scar that kind of broke out from the piece of trim when we were doing demo, so we're gonna get that fixed later. That won't be in this video, but I just wanted to show these actually fit pretty well. All right, so to cut that centerpiece for the window assembly, we need to actually, it's got a little bit of a draw. So the top is 7 1/4, the bottom is 7 1/2. The height is no problem. So I've got this larger piece of wood over here that I'll show you. So this guy right here is the one that we're gonna use for the center of the window. I was originally just gonna rip it on the table saw, but since it's got that yank to it, I'm gonna put it on the sawhorses with the regular old circular saw, and I'm gonna cut it that way. Fingers crossed that it turns out good, because I only got one of those. So here we go. All right, we've got this clamped and marked. We got 7 1/2 down at this end and 7 1/4 down at this end. So I'm gonna rip this down with a circular saw and see if it fits. And we decided to go ahead and trim out the fridge. We think it actually looks really nice. Matches the rest of the trim really well. You can see all the way around and over to the window above the sink. It actually turned out really great. We're happy with it. Color looks really good. The distress work that we did turned out really well. It has some really nice character to it, you know, without spending a ton of money trying to find salvage wood. So we're really happy all in all with this. Next project is going to be getting onto the wood wrap around the rest of this hood vent. That video goes back a while, so we'll try to get that one posted as well very soon. All right, so we are wrapped up with the kitchen trim job, and it turned out really good. We're very happy with it. We're going to move right along into getting the trim boards up over that hood vent. I'm gonna leave that for a separate video though. So anyways, thanks again for watching our videos and supporting our channel. If you love what we do, subscribe and like it and share it. Share it with people you know that may be into doing DIY projects. And our goal is to hopefully show people how we do things and hopefully make your projects or people you know's projects much better for them in the future, or maybe just give some ideas. So anyways, thanks for watching, and see you guys in the next project.